So what do you do if your GPS tells you to go one way and you know you don't really want to go that way? So what do? Well, we're going to talk a little bit about that coming up right after this.
Hey everybody, I'm Judy.
And I'm Jim, and welcome to It's a Highway Vlog, where you get to travel the country with us.
And don't leave your Rand McNally Atlas at home.
Because you're probably going to need it.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Someday.
So while you're watching this video, trying to figure out what we just said, don't forget to hit the little subscribe button and ring the little notification bell. So you don't miss anything, including your next turn.
Yes! Make sure you use that Atlas.
So, hey, good afternoon. We wanted to do a little, a short, hopefully.
Never short.
It's never short video today. Sort of a follow-up to yesterday's video. We ended up with a weekend run that we pick up tonight, and we'll be heading up to the frozen north country of Minnesota.
If all goes as planned.
If all goes as planned. We pick up tonight here in Tennessee. We'll head up there. We don't unload till Monday. It's not a secure load. It's just a refrigerated load. So we'll go and find us a truck stop somewhere along the way.
And as of yet, no load for Monday yet.
No load for Monday. But other than when we're going to unload Monday.
Yes.
That doesn't count. We count it in this week. So guess what? If the load actually runs tonight, we met our financial goals for the week.
Yay!
Yeah, we'll see.
And everybody was smiling.
There was
and
much
happy.
rejoicing.
And much rejoicing.
So anyway, Judy and I were sort of talking, and we had an experience happen to us that rarely happens, but it happened to both of us at two different times the other day.
And back to back, same day.
And it wasn't the fact that...
oh, no, wait. I got to preface that, too. And then a conversation with my mom.
Yes.
Who thought that this would be a really good topic.
Yeah, so this one's for you, Mom. Anyway, what happens is, we have a GPS in the truck. We have two, basically, GPSs in the truck. We have our Rand McNally.
Freak out in your phone.
And we have our Qualcomm C-Link, which is truck navigation. Well, we happen to go through a couple of areas that they have changed the way the exits work. And the GPS thinks the exit gets off to the left, and
or in my case the right,
or in her case the right,
just depending on which one you're talking
and
about.
well, it used to, but now they've changed the routing, and so now you get off to the other side of where you were actually coming. Well, we sort of rely on ultimately you rely on the road signs. But if you get yourself all the way over in one lane, and then you're in like my example happened in St. Louis the other day.
I hate St. Louis anyway. My brain can't wrap around that city.
So we just lost every YouTube viewer that's ever from St. Louis. Sorry about that.
Sorry. No, I like the city. It's fine. I just don't like driving around it.
Around St. Louis.
Actually, the roads. I just can't figure them out for whatever reason.
Eventually, our big viewer count will be at 0 because she will eventually annoy everybody. Right. So anyway, I'm driving through St. Louis. The GPS has got me. We don't go through downtown St. Louis very often. I tend to go around the outer belts. Around most cities, but for whatever reason we were going across 70, and so the GPS is telling me, hey, you need to be in the left-hand lane up here, and so I get in the left-hand lane. Well, the highway's 4 or 5 lanes wide, and by the time I get up and start noticing the signs, I've got to be in the right lane, and it comes up really quickly where the turnoff,
and there's not much time.
And there's not much time, so I'm not going to go cutting across 5 or 6 lanes of traffic just to be in the right place at the right time, so I missed my turn.
Oops.
Which, it's better to be safe than sorry, because I don't want to make a sudden move and try to cut over 5 lanes of traffic. That would just be crazy. So I didn't do that, so I went on down the highway. So I had to go down and find an exit and turn around and come back. It cost us 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Aggravation on my part. But it happens. And it's sort of the same situation of this.
I gotta tell my own story.
You tell your own
story. You leave
story.
out your part of it. I gotta tell my own.
Tell your own story.
So, we're driving through Kentucky, right? That was the story.
It's your story.
We were in this.
I'm not gonna comment. It's your story.
Anyway, there's a new interstate on
Yes.
there that's Interstate 69, and I don't remember what the roads were before that. Some sort of parkways or whatever Kentucky calls the roads. And anyway, so I usually follow road signs. I really do. But
Yes.
the GPSs both were having me get off to the right.
Yes. Sounds
And
familiar.
so I thought, all right, we'll go off to the right. Well, unbeknownst to me, I was supposed to be to the left because that was the interstate I was supposed to be following. Now, my wonderful, lovely person beside me, my partner and team co-driving husband, says that he told me to stay on 69. Well, I obviously went, and I solely remember that you did not tell me how long I was supposed to stay on 69.
Yeah.
It was just eventually, you're going to turn off, but, I don't know where. So I went off to the right, and actually it was where 69 and 24 split, I think. And
Yes.
so once I looked up
Definitely.
the sign and saw I was on 24, I was like, yeah, I don't think I want to be on this road. So that's when I went, okay, Tim, I obviously made a
Well,
wrong turn.
In Judy's defense, she was actually going the route that the
That used to do
GPS
it.
wanted her to go, and we would have normally have went that way, but we weren't going that way tonight. So it's sort of a little bit of a miscommunication on our part. If you were there, you would understand. I know you're probably all confused at this point, going, "What are they doing?" But it happens. I guess what we're trying, our whole thoughts behind this particular video is. It wasn't the fact that we weren't paying attention. It's just that
We
it's
weren't paying attention.
Well, we've noticed on the GPSs, it does this at times. And if you're unfamiliar with an area that you're in, sometimes the GPS, it will tell us to be turning several miles before we'll actually see a road sign that has the directions. And in some cases, the GPSs will tell you to turn, but it's not really a turn. The road goes straight,
It's just kind of veering off to that.
but it veers off to the right. But a lot of times, so there is no actual turn involved, but the GPS may say, in 2 miles, turn right. So you're expecting for there to be a right turn. Well, sometimes there might actually be a right turn, but that's not what the GPS really wants you to do.
Or the exit numbers don't match the exits that they're telling you to get off of, or that it's not really an exit, even though they're
Right.
telling you it is an exit, but it's not really
So
an
like I said, we rely more on the road signs than we do the GPS. The other day, the incident in St. Louis was just my unfamiliarity with coming through there, but I still think
I'm usually the one who drives through St.
I
Louis.
did the right thing in not trying to cut over through traffic to get to an exit that I needed to get to. Because
And same thing with me, as I
Yeah.
just took off and went down to the next, which in my case was 7 miles down the road and then 7 miles back.
you can always drive down the road and come back, and if you cut someone off or try to make a turn that's going to be too quick to do it, then don't do that.
Yeah,
That's
that's
a
dangerous, and you're beside the road a lot longer.
Yeah,
than
and-
you're 7 or 8 miles out of the way.
And like I said, the intersection in St. Louis, they have completely revamped that over the last few years. And the intersection that she was at there in Kentucky didn't even used to, the interstate didn't even used to exist. So it's all new.
Now, I did have one other incident that was a while back. I mean, we've missed exits here and there
Fine.
all through the years.
Yeah. This
but-
happened a long time ago.
This is actually when we first started driving, because we were actually still driving in that city. But around New York City. We weren't actually in New York City. We were in New Jersey. New Jersey? At the time.
We were
Yeah.
in New Jersey.
On the turnpike.
No.
No, I was getting on the turnpike.
She was coming around 287. We had a load that was coming from Canada and going to North Carolina. This is early on, the first year we were driving. This happens, and
We didn't have a courier on board, did we?
no, we did not.
No, okay.
It was not one of those kind of loads.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're driving along. I was asleep, and what she needed to do was to get off 287 and get on the New Jersey Turnpike, Interstate 95, and go south. On the New Jersey Turnpike, they actually have two sets of lanes. They have cars, and then they have one that says cars, trucks, and buses. Well, the particular interchange that she comes through, she has to go through a toll booth, and then she has to get onto the turnpike going southbound. But just as you come through the toll booth, there are actually 3 lanes. There's one that goes to your left, one in the middle, and one that goes to your right. Somehow or another, her GPS...
Directioning challenged.
Well, it's a very confusing interchange. In fact,
and there are no south sign. I mean, there are no directional signs. There's no road signs or direction signs.
So what happened is she did what the GPS did, but then like at the last minute, the GPS said go the other way. So she went right because that's what it was telling her to stay right, because the car lane was to the left. The cars, trucks, and buses lane, which she was supposed to be in, was in the middle, but was to the right of that first lane. So he's telling her to stay right.
So I stayed right.
But she stayed right, and so anyway, she wakes me up and she says, "Hey, I think I'm going the wrong way." And I'm going, "What are you talking about? Did you get onto 95? She's like, "Yeah." And so anyway,
so you come up front and look out in the distance.
I'm looking out through the front windshield.
Not the right where it's supposed to be.
And I'm noticing that New York City is on my right-hand side. Well, New York City is only on my right-hand side if we're going north. So we were headed back into New York City. And so we managed to get turned around. I said, we'll go to the next exit. We'll turn around, which is not easy on the turnpike because you've always got these ramps and curves and toll booths. And so anyway, we got back on track. But this is very early on. This was probably within the first 6 months that we were driving.
Yeah, you'd think by now we'd have this all figured out.
I will tell you, to this day, that ramp still confuses the heck out of me. We go through there sometimes, and we purposely are like, "Hey, that's that ramp. Remember, you got to get into the middle right."
I think since though they put some new signs on.
I think they have.
I think they've put new.
This was in the time period where they were actually revamping,
doing construction and stuff,
and adding a lot of new. They took out a lot of the old signage on the turnpike and put in new. So anyway,
that's what we do appreciate new roads, but the GPSs don't always tune us into how things have changed, and if we haven't been there for months or even just a couple weeks, sometimes things change.
But like we said, it's better to be safe than sorry. You can always, if you miss a turn, go to the next one and turn around. Don't try to do something crazy, which we see people do all the time, where people will be in the left-hand lane and they'll cut across 4 lanes of traffic to get off at an exit that they didn't realize was right there. And that's very, very dangerous, and so we try to avoid that.
Now, Mom's question was, how much out of our way have we ever had to go?
Because of something like that?
Or even a detour, or just...
It's usually to the next exit. We have had a detour at times because roads have been closed or there's been an accident. I know we were in one in Iowa one night where it was probably 40 miles. And we were one in Missouri one night where they actually put us over on the old US 66 for a little while. Mm-hmm. Was about 20 miles to the next exit. We've been in one in Kentucky that took us through places trucks shouldn't have been.
Where you get the 2-lane highways that the shoulder's like, this big.
Yeah, because you just never know. And
drops off.
It's we sort of have a little bit of an advantage, I guess, over folks that are in a truck by themselves, is we always have someone that can, look at
help
a map.
Navigate, yeah.
Or look at a map real quick.
And usually I'll wake Jim up, or, he doesn't normally wake me up.
No, because
unless it's just for extra eyes.
We're wanting to get the correct way to go, right?
Whatever.
All right, whatever. So
anyway, and then the other thing is that sometimes we get stuck, like it was in Texas where we were in traffic for a fire that was come across the road. They
routed us probably. We actually got turned around on the interstate because we got to a point in East Texas, been several years ago, where we couldn't go any further. They turned us around, sent us back down several exits.
And said, go on your way, good luck.
Yeah, we waited there for 2 or 3 hours, and then they came up with a detour, which took us like 30 miles south.
And through a bunch of smoke, too.
Through a lot of smoke.
Yeah.
Back up to the interstate on the other side of the fire. So that was probably a grand total of maybe 90 miles. Round for the it was like 30 miles south, 30 miles east, 30 miles north, to make up for the 30 miles that we were actually going to go. So that's 60 miles extra. But thankfully we had the GPS. I mean, I guess the whole point of this is the GPS is a tool, but don't bet your life on it.
Definitely.
So
even on some of the detours, it's nice because a lot of the towns will have patrol people around showing you where the detours are. But there are some times where it happens so quickly that they don't have time to put signs up or to have people in place because it's in a rural area or a remote area that they don't have. So then that's when I think a lot of our driver friends will agree. Pick out a truck and follow them, and hopefully
That's what she
going
does.
the right way.
We just hope we're not going to the wrong spot.
Because a lot of times you can't just go around, you know, a block. You can't do it because sometimes it's like
just
this.
Think about that. You've got 500 trucks following one guy that they all think he knows what he's doing. He might just be going home for the weekend. He's going to have a big surprise, isn't he?
That's it.
So anyway, that's what we're
We're
doing.
all pulling into his driveway.
Yeah. So we're going to finish the weekend out. We'll pick up here tonight, head up north, and hopefully the weather's
Miss
not
the
supposed
snow
to be
as much as we can.
supposed to be good. We'll set for the weekend, and then Monday we'll see what happens. So there'll probably be a couple blogs tomorrow and Sunday.
Yeah. We'll stop. We'll have time on the way, so
Yep.
we'll stop and do some things. Hopefully, maybe we might get some scenery out there too. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? But
So anyway, you ready?
Anyway.
That it?
we're all done.
I think we're done.
Alrighty, folks. We will see you in the next video. So long.
Good night.